and welcome back to Revenue Remix. I am your host, Summer Paletti, founder and CRO at Rise of Us, where we help CEOs and founders plan for and achieve their next level of growth. And sometimes they're aspirational and they're planning and it's proactive, and sometimes they're stuck and they kind of don't know why. And we've been talking a lot about aligning teams lately, aligning the go-to-market team, aligning go-to-market with the back of the house teams, how culture affects alignment. And I'm here with a mini pod for you today to talk about why alignment is difficult. And it's not just a people problem. So if my last corporate sales team was here, they would be laughing at me because I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm going to talk a little bit about DISC. If you've taken a DISC assessment, a lot of people have. If you haven't, it basically talks about how your brain is wired, how you communicate, how you make decisions. And through the work, you can learn about how other people communicate, how they make decisions, how your communication style, how your decision making is perceived by others. Through that understanding, you learn how to speak their language, so to speak. Something that comes to mind all the time is between sales and finance. That came up during the GTM alignment panel quite a bit. All of the sales and marketing leaders thought that they had probably accidentally railroaded finance. So if you think about those of us who work in sales, it's big personalities, it's loud, it's a lot of extroverts, it's people who aren't afraid to get into a room and talk to total strangers. And then you think about finance, and they tend to be numbers people. They tend to look at things thoughtfully and they make decisions based on data. And I think that there are probably no two types of people that communicate more differently than that. And I like to think of it as a completely different language. You've got sales out there, people going based on vibes, and then you've got finance, like, no, we need to be careful about this. Show me your numbers. So sometimes the misalignment within the organization has absolutely nothing to do with shared KPIs or complementary goals or things like that. It's that you have fundamentally different people running their teams, and they don't even see things the same way. They don't communicate the same way. They don't make decisions the same way. Understanding this is a cornerstone to making sure these alignment initiatives stick. The one thing I want to address before we start is that there is no right or wrong. There is no, this is the right type of DISC personality, and I'm going to work really hard to be the other one. The beauty in it is it's just the way you're born. And there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that you can do is work on avoiding certain perceptions. So we'll talk about that a little bit. DISC stands for dominant or driver, influence, steady, conscientious. So that D personality is someone who makes decisions quickly. They are direct, they're fast, they are fact and task based. I see a lot of CEOs end up mapping out as a DISC D. If you think about the type A personality, that is definitely a DISC D. And then the I is for influence. Those are also people who speak quickly, make decisions quickly, but instead of being task-oriented, they are people-oriented. Relationships matter very much to these folks. And this is where you often see your sales folks, those fast-talking, those loud, those people. We'll move on to the S. The S is the steadfast. These are also people-oriented, but they tend to make decisions more carefully. They tend to make decisions in a group. They're more measured in the way that they communicate. And those group decisions, this is where they feel safe, safety in numbers. This is where I see a lot of HR folks. This is where I see a lot of customer service folks. And the last is the C. That is the conscientious. That is somebody who's also careful and measured in their manner of speech and in the way that they make decisions, but they We're going back to task-oriented now and numbers people. No huge surprise. This is where I see people in IT and finance. Now, this is a generalization. I've seen a CFO who was the S type. I've seen a salesperson who was the D type. I'm generalizing here just to give you guys, a little bit of visual. So, what I learned the hard way is that if I come into the room, I'm gonna go finance again or IT. If I come in with I need this right now because we've got a deal on the line. I come across being self-promotional. I come across being pushy. I come across being loud, disorganized, all sorts of things. And so, what I learned through this work is that when I'm working with somebody who is a disc D, that direct, I want things done, I want them done quickly type of person, stick to the facts only. I do not use words like vision or imagine or things like that. It looks way too kumbaya. This is a classic, like, get to the point, tell me what it is, tell me why it matters, tell me the deadline, like no fluff, right? I'm gonna skip over how I deal with an I because it matters because that's me, okay? When dealing with an S, the S type of person, the person who's a little more slow, a little more measured, they like things in groups, the disc S needs to feel safe. Terms like we, because they know that you're not going to leave them out to dry. They're not going to be alone in this. You've got their back. So, using language like we, I have also learned that they need time to make a decision. And so, when I give them, here's what we need to do, can you get back to me by Friday? Things like that. You give them a deadline still, because otherwise they will ponder it forever. You give them a deadline, give them some time, and show in your presentation or show in your words that you've got their back and that they're not in this alone. That disc C, the data person, they also need a deadline because they will gobble up all the data if they like to be correct. So you have to be able to back up what you want with your data. Here's what I need. Here is why. Here's the data. They're going to want things like R. And then you also give them a deadline, but give them time so that they don't analyze forever, but they also don't feel pressure. And then now I'm going to go back to that disc I. And you would think that talking to someone that is your own personality would be the best thing. And it is, and also it isn't. Obviously, you're going to be communicating in a very similar style. You're going to make decisions in a very similar way. So there's less friction, less ability to accidentally miscommunicate. But then the challenge is there is nobody to check you. When you're talking to someone with your same personality, you are going to come back being like, wow, this person is awesome. I love them. They're the smartest person ever. We totally get each other. So then I will challenge anybody, if you are talking to someone with your own personality, that you have to realize that and check the optimism and ask yourself, maybe, what are we glossing over? What are we missing because we're in sync so much? It is a good idea to have everybody on the leadership team take a disc, work with a coach, because the disc assessments that I give my clients, it comes back with like 74 pages. It can almost feel overwhelming. Some of it is talking about disc in general. Some of it talks about yourself. It gives you here's your strengths, here's your weaknesses. I don't know why people are like this. We always focus on the bad. I totally spiraled when I first saw my first disc. It's a good idea to work with somebody who knows the work so that they can help you through it. And what we do is we do things like showing people pretty easy ways based on word choice or based on the manner of speech, how quickly they talk, how much they talk, things like that. You can look for signs so that you can kind of figure out who speaks in what communication style so that you can craft your delivery so that it's more likely to land. So it's a good idea to work with a coach, but at a minimum, at least understand the work and understand where people are. I can personally attest, this goes all the way back to my corporate days, and it's why I bring this work to my client engagements now. This was so helpful. I went from being perceived as the bull in the china shop who, ramrods all these decisions to just understanding how other people think and understanding what makes them tick and being able to kind of meet in the middle. It was really helpful from an alignment standpoint to understand how other people communicate and make decisions and to be able to work with them communicating in their own language, so to speak. So anyway, I can't speak highly enough of it. It is the missing piece in the let's get everybody aligned so that we can fight the problem instead of fight each other solutions that we've been talking about lately. So here's your one little stealable moment. When sales and marketing fight, it might not be a lead quality problem. It might be a D talking to an S without any translation or ability to really fully understand each other. And what you can do about it today, there are free assessments out there. Go have everybody on the leadership team take the assessment, read it, don't obsess over all the negative, and tell everybody what the other person is. Like, knowing who everybody is part of it. It's not just enough to know your own. Knowing someone else tells you the language that they speak in. And if you want a coach to help you through this, I happen to do this work for my clients. So let's wrap this up. If you're seeing finger pointing within your organization, it might not be just shared KPIs or culture. It could just be a fundamental misunderstanding about how the other person thinks, communicates, and makes decisions. DISC can be that missing little magical piece. For all of you listening in the car or the gym, I appreciate you. I hope you found this helpful. I will see you all next week.